Baddie running game on me, so they be really working OT. You're trying to get to know me, but I don't wanna budge, nah. I can tell that she a freak, it's a freak that she wants, so you know the vibes, it's mine, no time for solos. You already know, wanna pull up on the curbs, you know we have to keep it gangsta for true. You told your girls that I'm a dub, then you look me in my eyes and said, you're mine, oh. You're mine, oh. Fuck these other bitches, are you dumb? For real, see, I know you wanna. What is this? Witness this. You didn't turn you on, now she wanna get it on. She a freak in the sheets, ain't nobody here for creeps. So I don't mind if you wanna spend some time. Whoa. She know we have to keep it gangsta for true. You told your girls that I'm a dub, then you look me in my eyes and said, you're mine, you are mine, oh. You're mine, you are mine, oh. The fuck these other bitches, are you dumb? That's why that you're a freak. You've been a freak of the week, but you're still a lady in these streets. But I know you a freak. You've been a freak like me, but I just want some more. You told your friends that I'm a dub, then you look them in the eyes and said, he's just a vibe, he's that guy, but he made me shy and cry. I wonder why. Oh Lord, she's a freak. You've been a freak of the week, but you're still a lady in these streets. But I know you a freak. You've been a freak like me, but I just want some more. You told your friends that I'm a dub, then you look them in the eyes and said, he's just a vibe, he's that guy, but he made me shy and cry. I wonder why. Oh Lord, she's a. She said, baby, why you so low-key? Never seen you up in these streets. She a baddie running game on me, so they be really working OT. You're trying to get to know me, but I don't wanna budge, nah. I can tell that she a freak, it's a freak that she wants, so you know the vibes, it's mine, no time for solos. You already know, wanna pull up on the curves, you know we have to keep it gangsta.
You guys killed it.
You made the decision to play Thiago. Klopp doesn't change the system since Luvac left. You don't want to change from the 4-3.
Boom. What's going on, people? We're back again on the Jerry James Show for a nice special, man. A lot of talk, a lot of news, a lot of Liverpool news as well surrounding transfers, Salah, thought about players potentially joining Liverpool and opting for other clubs, and we're going to get into everything. The main, obviously, story surrounding Liverpool being the Jordan Henderson interview, man. A lot to get into, a lot to unpack, and I've obviously got K-Mac with me as well. It's going to be a fiery one because I already got a feeling we've got opposing ideologies regarding everything. But big up to everyone in the building that's already here. Make sure we are smashing the like as always. As soon as you see my face in front of your screens, when I'm in front of the camera, just please make sure we are hitting the like. If you're new to the channel and you're liking what you're seeing, you're liking the content, subscribe. And look, you don't have to subscribe now. You can subscribe afterwards. It might be in a couple of videos, but just like the video and then subscribe. And listen, you won't regret it, man. You won't regret it. But before I get into, obviously, everyone get into obviously K-Mac, I'm going to ask him what's going on. Going to get into obviously the comments, and we've got loads of people in the building off the bat, so please make sure we are smashing the like. We've got the Irish Weldstone Raider, big up to yourself, saying Henderson is a clown, he's destroyed his name. We've got Fritz saying Hendo has really disappointed me, such distasteful comments. We've got Trudon in the building as well, big up to yourself. We've got Reds for Life. We've got Aman Singh in the building as well. Big up to Panov Scouse, Nico LFC. We've got K-Mac in the building and many more. So, guys, please make sure we are hitting that like and sharing as well, man. Sharing as well. But K-Mac, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing, man?
I'm great. That was a really good watch along, by the way, for your first one. So, congrats.
Appreciate it.
That was good, mate. And you're the lucky charm now. I'm going to be watching your watch-alongs.
It's like I'm going to have to carry on doing watch-alongs because it's like the best performance, and we're here, man. We're here. But yeah, getting into it, I think the best thing to do first of all is to kind of speak. I'm going to get the article up. I'm going to read through it a bit. We're going to read through it a bit. Couple paragraphs here and there, and then I think it's best to discuss it in that way. It gives everyone a chance, obviously gives yourself a chance, but also everyone in the chat that hasn't been able to read it or hasn't really taken it in to go and make some comments, make some notes, and then we can obviously have a talk about it. So
I also want to point out as well to the chat that the person that's interviewing him, not Ornstein, is a gay man. Okay, so just think about some of his questions, because it's from a person who's a homosexual. Okay.
Well, cool. Well, big up, obviously. So David Ornstein obviously starts it off. You guys can see it by saying, look, all your preseason preparations appear to be focused on returning to Liverpool in the Premier League. Jordan Henderson stating, look, that was very much the case. I had a chat with the manager at the end of the last season, which was about the season coming up and the players we were looking to bring in and what his plans were. I went away over the summer and I had an intense period of training to make sure that I was in the best possible shape when I returned to Liverpool. You were Liverpool captain, the man who lifted the Premier League and Champions League trophies. When did that start to change? Was there an approach from the Saudi Pro League? Did Jurgen say you weren't part of his plans? There were a few things that sent alarm bells ringing. I've got a very good relationship with Jurgen. He was very honest with me. I won't go into detail about the conversation because it's private, but it put me in a position where I knew that I wasn't going to be playing as much. I knew there were going to be some new players coming in my position. And if I'm not playing, as anybody will know, especially the manager, that can be quite difficult for me. And especially when I've been at the club for so long. I've captained the team for so long, especially when England's a big thing for me. You've got the Euros coming up, and there was an approach from Al-Ittihad to the club to see if it would be possible for me to go there. The reaction from the club, again, wasn't to say no. At that moment, I felt as though my value or the want for me to stay with the manager and within the club, maybe it had shifted. I knew that that time would come at some point. I didn't think it would be now, and I had to accept that. I've got a very good relationship with Jurgen, with the owners of the club. That will be forever. What we've achieved together in the past 12 years has been incredible. But at the same time, it was hard for me to take that. Adam Crafton, the guy who was obviously pictured here with David Ornstein as well, who was part of the interview, going on to state, was there a part of you thinking, I'd just like to fight, I'd just like you to fight for me a little bit? As in fight for me to stay? Henderson, if one of those people said to me, now we want you to stay, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I have to think about that, what's next for me in my career. Now, that's not for me to say they forced me out of the club or they were saying they wanted me to leave. But at no point did I feel wanted by the club or anyone to stay. K-Mac, I'll be back in literally 30 seconds. If you could just read that next bit. I'm literally by the time you finish that 2 seconds.
Henderson, I'm at the latter stage of my career and I want to be happy playing football. I want to play. I don't want to be sitting on the bench and coming on for 10 minutes in games. And I knew that would have an effect on the chances of me playing for England. Crafton, Liverpool have bought midfielders when you've been at the club. Thiago Alcantara came in, Naby Keita came in, and you've always responded. There have been times when players came in and I've thought, is Jordan going to be in trouble? And then you came back stronger each time. Were you tempted to think, okay, they're not saying they're desperate for me to stay, but I'm going to prove them wrong and get back in the team? Mate, you need to deep dive on all of those 2 paragraphs because that is serious stuff.
We're going to 100%.
I can carry on. Henderson, 100%.
Yeah, go on, carry on. I'll read
that was the whole. That was the whole thing about a training regime over the summer. I was working so hard, and people saw the shape that I came back in. But when I got back, it was still the same situation, which made me think, actually, this time, does it matter what I do? Ornstein, did you consider other options, or was it full steam ahead with the Al-Ittihad approach?
Yeah, cool. Henderson going on to say, I think a lot of clubs would have known there was a possibility of me leaving because it was speculated over the summer. I'd love to sit here and say that every club under the sun was wanting me, but the reality was that they weren't. Liverpool is where my kids were born. I achieved so much there. I love the club. I love the fans, and the thought of playing against them would have been a different challenge in a different way, and it wasn't something that I felt was right for me. Crafton, what if it would have been maybe a Brighton or a Brentford, that kind of level, or was it your view? If I'm going to stay in European football, I really want to be competing at the top. Henderson, I wanted something that would excite me. And that's not to say that those clubs wouldn't excite me because they are great clubs and they come with really different challenges. But I needed to be something that I felt as though I could add value in and try something new. a new challenge for different reasons. And this opportunity with Stevie in a totally different league and totally different culture was something completely different that maybe it would excite us in terms of the project that was put in front of us, in terms of the league, and using my experience to try and help with that in many different areas and feeling that people value. It's nice to feel wanted. I know Stevie really wanted me. I know the club really wanted me to go, and they wanted us to try and build over the next few years. Something that is here to stay and be one of the best leagues in the world. We'll leave that here for now. Listening to that, chat to me.
Okay, the biggest thing that sticks out for me is Klopp obviously told him he's going to be doing the Milner role. And that came at the end of last season, after he had an absolutely shocking season, funny enough. Of course. And he wasn't happy. He could have gone to Brighton. Like, do you really think Brighton might have signed him instead of Milner if he'd have gone? Like, he could have gone to Brighton and been with like his Milner and Lallana. Like, there's clubs that would have took him. What I don't get, there's a couple of things that stick out for me. Like, why did you wait till you're 33 to start getting fit? Like, he come back a beast.
I mean, he did. He
could have done that last year.
No, he could have. But sometimes you do need a wake up call. It's like, why wasn't Verge as solid as he was the season, like the start of this season, as opposed to last season? Fabinho wasn't as great. There were so many players that were off form, and for me, when I read what's saying, and I struggle to understand, like, so far at this moment in time, from what we've read, there's nothing in there that jumps out of me and makes me surprised. I think he's being very honest. I think about it. He could have easily gone and said, there were loads of clubs in for me. Loads of clubs wanted me. I'm not going to say who, but I chose to go here because of this. I think he was very honest by saying, I would love to say that loads of clubs were in for me, but there weren't. There weren't
because
clubs
he wasn't available.
But he was.
But he wasn't available. That's the thing.
No, but he was, though, because put it this way. If you're in the team given a Milner role, you're indispensable. And you're dispensable.
Oh yeah. But I mean, he wasn't listed as available because clubs weren't going to try.
But they knew because just as he mentioned there, Al-Ittihad knew he was about. So if they knew he was about, it means that other teams would have known that there was rumours, and they would have potentially went in for someone like that. There was a lot of rumours that Liverpool are going to sign Bellingham. They're going to sign this midfielder. We have signed McAllister, Soboslai over the summer. It was evident to me. So looking at that perspective, he knows, all right, cool. Klopp said to me, I'm going to go and get this, obviously, role. I've said, cool. I haven't said anything over the summer. I still went. I've trained as hard as I could. And that's the most I could have done, is in terms of like get fit, because we haven't played any football yet. I've come back and Klopp's still saying, that's great, but you're not gonna get to that next level. Like, as in, this is the role that we're giving you. You're not being told that, we want you to stay around. We're not pushing you out of the door, but this is the role you're gonna go and get. I compare that to, like, imagine you went, imagine you're working at a company and you've been like the manager, you've been the area manager or whatnot. And the company is either bought by a bigger company or a new CEO comes in and he wants to bring his pals in. And of course, a new manager didn't come in, but he's saying, actually, we can't force you out because legally, you've been here for too long. Like, it's going to be difficult to force you out, but we don't want you in this high position anymore. For me personally, at this moment in time, he hasn't done anything.
How you see it?
Yeah, he hasn't done anything. Yeah, 100%. He hasn't done anything so far from what we've read, because I don't agree that a player should be comfortable ever to go and sit back and be like, hey, I don't mind doing the Divock Origi role or the Milner role. I really question players that want to go and do that. Hence why when Milner was frustrated at playing left back the whole season and then not getting games, and there was numerous reports of him having arguments with Klopp in regards to that, I respected that, because I'm like, he's not comfortable with just not playing. I think a lot of players, what would have been worse is if he said, you know what, and done Harry Maguire and said, you guys want to get rid of me, but I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sit on the bench and I'm going to sit around and not go and do this. Bear in mind, every Liverpool fan under the sun wanted him gone in the summer. Before any rumours came about, we all said Henderson needs to go, Henderson needs to go. When it was who's going to go, Fabinho or Henderson, everyone wanted to keep Fabinho over Henderson.
And Klopp made it keep Henderson now. Klopp wanted to keep him.
No,
like he wanted to keep him.
Yeah, keep him under the pre. No, but he didn't. No, but to keep someone under the pretense. Hey, K-Mac, I don't mind you being.
I understand that. Yeah, he wants to keep him at the club, but not to play him as
it's like,
player all the time.
Like, of course, because they've got a good relationship. Yeah, I'll keep you at the club. Of course, like we're not gonna. You're not Fabio Carvalho, where you just come in and we're just like, you know what, just go out on loan. We don't really want you at the club, or like Naby Keita. You're Jordan Henderson. We respect what we've done. We've worked together for 12 years. So I'm not going to force you out. He mentioned it twice in that paragraph. Me and Jurgen Klopp have an amazing relationship. He said it twice. He said it in one paragraph. He said it again. They have a great, and Klopp actually reiterated that afterwards. He said they have a great relationship, but has gone on to go and say, I want to play football. I want to play games, and Klopp's not offering me games, so I need to go somewhere else. And I knew the time, and he said, I knew the time would come one day. I didn't think it would be then, but I knew the time would come. So he had to make a decision. And the fact that Klopp didn't go out and say, you know what? No, we're not selling Henderson this summer. No, we can't afford to. The same way we've done it with Salah. Suggests that Klopp was like, okay, cool, you can go because I understand we're not going to go and give you game time. So he didn't want him.
The interesting thing about one of those paragraphs as well is he says that I've never felt an issue before when he signed other players. Well, the only reason he didn't find an issue is because Thiago's always injured and Keita was always injured. So there was never really any competition with those two because they were always
plus those 100%. But not only that though, there would have been a different there would have been a different message that was put out by Klopp. 100%. When we signed Thiago, when we signed Naby Keita, when we signed these players, of course, still a massive kind of like, oh, you know what, like. There's some competition, but Klopp's telling him, yeah, but you're still part of our plans. If I'm coming to you and telling you, yeah, you know what, your minutes are getting halved, you know, or even like you're going to play third of the minutes that you played last season, and it might be off the bench. Sometimes you might not be in the squad because if you look at the amount of midfielders we've got currently, how is he getting in the squad even, right? Yeah. So if that was said, then it's like, all right, that's a different conversation. So. All right, cool. You said that to me at the end of the season. I'm still going to go away and I'm going to show you how dedicated I am to the cause. And of course, I want to play a bit of selfishness in it, but that's football. But I'm going to show you that I'm dedicated and I'm fixated and I'm trying to go and make this work. Klopp still comes to him and says, "That's great, but we need more than this now." Like, I rate the fact that you've done that. But it's not enough. Yeah, it's not enough. It's not enough. We need more from this position now. We need to move on. Henderson's gone okay. So for me, I don't know. I need to see, and I'm going to get into the comments now, but I need to see. So far, I don't see anything wrong with this.
So discussion. If we look at the bigger picture there, then what are we saying about players like Thiago and those type of players that are willing to stay, knowing that they're not going to be? That's what kind of concerns me now. Is if we do have players that are just happy to sit on the bench.
But that's my problem is we criticize like Calvin Phillips and who else? Harry Maguire spoke about other players that are not wanted at their clubs, but they just sit around and say, actually, Lukaku, actually, I'm not doing anything. Get rid of me then. I'm not moving. I'm not moving. And we criticize those players. But a player that says, actually, you know what? I'm going to head off and I think rightfully or wrongfully so, a player has to believe in his ability to go and still be able to provide. Otherwise, what's the point of playing football? If I felt, oh, you know what, like, yeah, I can't really play football anymore.
You're kind of changing my mind a little bit about Hendo here, by the way.
Yeah, it's like at that point for me.
I came on here ready to. You kind of shutting me down a bit.
But like I said,
you're good at this.
There might be some other points. We'll get into it. But my point is if you're sitting around and you're like, all right, cool. I want to sit about and I just don't mind getting my wage. And yeah, I'm going to be injured anyway. For me, that's more of a worry because then it's like, all right, You don't really care whether you play or not. You're comfortable. And for me, I'm always like, at one point, it's like at one point, the likes of like a Simicas or the likes of an Origi, all these players like Shaqiri, it gets to a point, they're here for 2 seasons, 3 seasons, they're like, actually, even Minamino, I want to play, so I'm going to go. And I don't think that's a slight on any player saying, oh, I want to go. And because we've got this affinity with Steven Gerrard when it comes to the footballing side of stuff, and it's like, oh, he's our captain, we expect these players to sit around forever and to just kind of, and don't get it twisted. I know social media wasn't about the same way. Steven Gerrard, the criticism was exactly the same from a footballing aspect. It was, why doesn't Steven Gerrard want to go and bed in blood in the new midfield that's coming in? Why does he want to go and leave? How could he leave and go to the MLS after us almost winning the league? I mean, do you know what I mean? It was only 1 season after. We just brought these new players. How could he go and do that? And that's my point. It's that at this moment in time, from a footballing standpoint, from what we've read, it's cool. Klopp, he wants me to stay, but in this capacity, he told me what the minutes are. I don't want to stay in regards to that. So we've got to leave, man. You've got to leave. Going to get into what people are saying in the comments before we move on. Fritz saying Machine has played approximately 10 minutes but was still called up to the England squad. We got Jude Jelling saying Hendo doing his best Ronaldo and Ornstein his peers Morgan. Hilarious. We got Honestly saying Hendo, stop lying. Just say you were mad when Klopp told you your minutes will be reduced. That's why Thiago is a G. He knows he ain't going to have much playing time and he ain't acting like a child. See, that's why I'm saying I disagree with that take completely, honestly, because I would want a player to get mad at the fact that he's not playing. We've praised Salah for being frustrated, for being taken off the pitch because he's a winner. He wants to win. The top players are going to go and do that. Go have a look at Messi being substituted as an example. But yeah, because we view Henderson's ability in a certain way, which is, again, it's opinion-based, we're saying actually, you don't deserve to go and have an ego like you're a footballer because your ability is not as good as X player. When in actual reality, every player thinks he's the ish. Every player thinks he's the top dog. Otherwise, you don't become a football player. Every football player thinks I'm better than the next player. Curtis Jones thinks he's better than Thiago. I guarantee you. Thiago thinks he's better than Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai thinks he's better than McAllister. That's what you want in your team, in my opinion. Me, it's more worrying having a player that's just like, yeah, I'm not going to get any minutes, but I'm going to stick around.
You see it from a different point of view. And I kind of agree with you to pretty much most of the extent there. Yeah. But I do think Hendo's got an ego. I've always been under the remit.
Yeah. But do you know what it is? Every player's got an ego. Yeah. Every player's got an ego. Like, every player's got an ego. If you went and dropped Trent for Gomez, you think Trent wouldn't kick up a fuss? You think Virgil wouldn't kick up a fuss?
And I don't think any player's going to sit there and go, well, actually, you know, I don't think I'm good enough for the Premier League anymore, so that's why I'm moving to Saudi Arabia. No one's really going to say that.
Exactly, because even if that was the case, even if you were good enough for somewhere in the Premier League, it's, if I'm not getting, and I agree, when that question was asked, I think he kind of avoided it, and he answered it to a T, but I think when Ornstein asked, oh, you know what? If I'm going to play football, I'm playing at the top level. Otherwise, I'm not playing. Otherwise, just get me out of it. I'm not doing this, playing for Luton Town and then getting relegated. Some players can do that. Some players just love that situation. They can go and do that. The players that play at the highest level have the biggest egos. You have to. You have to remember there's 11 spaces on the football pitch. I'm speaking from playing football. You have to have an ego. When I played football, I always thought I was the best player on the pitch, even if I wasn't. Even if I could look back and be like, actually, no, I wasn't, you know. I wasn't the best player on the pitch. I definitely moved like I was the best player on the pitch. And I can tell you that for free. So it's interesting. We got Captain Sal saying, no one wanted Hendo, let's be honest. I'm glad he went. Let him go and make his money. Good riddance. That's what I'm saying, man. I do agree that to a certain extent, man. 100%. 2 seconds. Let me just get the next bit up because we're going to get into the next bit. Cool.
This bit's a bit controversial.
Yeah. Ornstein here saying, Does that value extend to monetary? Because there'll be so many people who will hear you say, I want the challenge and the project and Stevie and the excitement, but still say he has just gone for the money. Henderson, that was the hardest thing. People will see this club come with loads of money and he's just gone, yeah, I'm going. When in reality, that just wasn't the case at all. People can believe me or not, but in my life and my career, money has never been a motivation, ever. Don't get me wrong. When you move, the business deal has to be tight. You have to have financials. You have to feel wanted. You have to feel valued. And money is a part of that. But that wasn't the sole reason. And the possibilities came up before money was even, and these possibilities came up before money was even mentioned. Crafton, it's been pretty widely reported figures like 700,000 a week or 4 times what you were earning at Liverpool. Is that true? No, I wish. And he laughs. No, honestly, the numbers just aren't true. But again, it had to work out for us financially as well. I'm not saying that it didn't. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm not good on money, because it's good money. And it was a good deal, but it wasn't the numbers that were reported. No. So you're saying that Stephen, in all the conversations you had with him, was never mentioning the money to you. Stevie never mentioned money. Everything I spoke to Stevie about was football and the project. He actually said he didn't want to get involved in any of the money stuff. It was all about what we could do together to achieve something special and build a club and build the league. Auntie saying, yeah, I think we'll get onto that next bit in a sec. Looking at that, then, man, chat to me. Do you think do you think that's the sole reason why Henderson left? It's just the money. It's like, yeah, you got a money deal and you just wanted to leave. And
I think it's probably 2 things. I think he probably threw his toys out the pram because he was getting his minutes reduced, and his mate Stevie was just on hand to give him a lifeline and to also give him a massive pay rise. I cannot believe that Stevie wouldn't have mentioned the money, like, or if he hadn't even just looked on the media and seen what some other players were being paid. Like, it was all over the media that players were getting like 100 million. You know, what did Kante get? Kante got like 100 million a year, didn't he? To go.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be on the same, like there or thereabouts. Like, he's a similar type of profile player. You know, Kante's probably won a few more titles and stuff, but I think Kante's won a World Cup as well, actually. So, okay, maybe he's a bit more high profile, but he's still going to be on relatively same amount of wages. So yeah, there would have been financials talked about it, obviously. What project are you going for? Like a mid-table team? Because that's what they are. Like, that's not much of a project to sell.
They're being bought out, isn't it? By
okay, so that is talking about financials. Then Stevie would have gone, well, come to us because, okay, maybe we don't have amazing owners now, but in 6 months' time, we'll have some of the best owners in the league. Because Stevie's getting paid more money than Klopp a year, apparently. So I think he's like the highest paid manager in the world, Stevie Gerrard.
Really?
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's I think he might be the highest paid manager in the world now. So there's obviously some money there. So I would say, yeah, I call bullshit on that one.
Yeah. We've got a next man. We've got Ram in the building as well. Before we move on to another matter, financials. Do you think it was solely, Henderson, he saw the money, he's like, yeah, I'm just going for the money. I'm just going for this team for the money. Or do you think it was the fact that as a player, his ego is being stroked? He wants to be, wanted. Stevie is coming to him. He's got a good relationship with Stevie. Looks at him like an idol a bit. And it's just like, yeah, as K-Mac said, right opportunity, lifeline. And he's like, yeah, I took it. Something 100%. Different, something new.
100%. I wouldn't say it's all monetary. Everything's not monetary. There has to be other external factors involved. I think Steven Gerrard was a big part of it. I think just a new experience was a big part of it. But it's hard to not look at the money and be like, you went majority because it's on the money. Like, it's life-changing money. Like we said before, we had streams about this. This is money that could set your generation for the next couple of generations, isn't it? But if you're looking at it from a Henderson point of view, I think there's more to it than money. I think it's more if Gerrard was a part of it, and I think it's just a new experience for him. But I said this in the comments, and I'll say it again. I don't know why people are so upset about this. Like, the guy's gone. We've got Szoboszlai. We've got Gravenberch. Why are we crying about this? As in, like, he's gone. He's no longer a Liverpool player. We closed the chapter. We tied the ribbon on the book. It's done. It's a new era for Liverpool, basically, for our midfield. And yet I see people on the timeline getting upset about this. And I'm like, why are you upset? Why are you upset about this, man? It's just, it makes no sense, in my opinion.
I hear that.
I
I
agree,
hear that.
by the way.
Yeah, getting into it as well. We've got Honesty saying, JJ, my thing is the difference between a player who wants to fight for his place and a player who just wants to cause a disturbance because he ain't playing. But he didn't cause a disturbance because he left. That's what I'm trying to say, is he wasn't happy with the situation, so he left. Thiago is someone that is comfortable not playing games, like not playing. Which for me is a worry, because then there's no.
I think he's the type of player that might cause a disturbance if he'd stayed. So I think we did well for that to not happen as well.
Yeah, 100%. Looking at it
He's
as
not done
well.
it yet. Like, we've never experienced it, but
yeah.
But I think he would. Like, for me, like, just even reading into some of that, I think he probably would. And if anything affects his England call up, then blimey.
What I would say though is, it's funny if for anyone that thinks that Klopp's or Henderson's coming from a position of like ego, and that's his ego and the fact that he wants to cause a disturbance because he can't get games, then that defeats the argument and defeats your argument that he's left for money. Because if he wouldn't have left for money, because on principle he wouldn't have left to go to an Al-Ittihad that no one had heard about until they bid for Henderson. Like, for me, if we're thinking about it, that this could, like, the way I think about it is, if Klopp said, Henderson, you're going to be a starting midfielder next season, does Henderson go to Al-Ittihad for unless it was 700,000 a week for that 130k that is rumored that Henderson's getting, obviously tax free? Does Henderson go to Al-Ittihad? He doesn't.
No. I think the signings of Szoboszlai and Mac was like, oh, it's like a light bulb moment. I was like, oh crap.
But it's the conversation as well. It's the conversation, because you could say that, but it's like, Henderson, you're still going to be our starter. Look, if you're not performing, these guys are going to go and come in. Klopp said to him, yeah, you're not going to be a starter anymore. So that's why you can't on one hand say, yeah, he went for the money, but at the same time say, yeah, he should have stayed and fought for his place. Because you're either using the argument of ego and saying that Henderson's got such an ego.
Klopp does that with everyone. If he wants to see how you react, he's a reaction kind of person. He will say something and see how you react.
No, Ram, Henderson. Let's not even do. Henderson's done that multiple times throughout his career at Liverpool. Multiple. You're not my starting 8. You're not my starting 6. I'm gonna get rid of you at the start of the season. Like, he's had that throughout his career. He's had that, like, even with Brendan Rodgers. That's why I'm saying it can't. The argument of it being ego, it can't be ego, because if it was ego, he would have done what Maguire's done and said, "I'm not leaving, and if I'm not playing, cool."
Well,
all of us would be here screaming and saying, "Klopp's sentimental. Klopp's not getting rid of Henderson. Why is Henderson not doing that? Why is not Henderson not doing that?"
That's it. There's a change in Klopp. And Henderson didn't like it. The thing about it as well is, he can sit there and say that, like, he wasn't going to be given game time. Fabinho wasn't supposed to be sold, so he was going to get game time back, because Fabinho wasn't going to be there because he wanted to leave. Like, they accepted that bid. If he'd have stayed, I'm glad he didn't, like, by the way, but if he'd have stayed, he probably would have got more game time. So that would have changed that whole perspective of, well, he's been told he's not going to get played as much, because we were going to lose our DM. Obviously we only got Endo in the end, but that still would have given him more game time, like maybe more than he was supposed to have got. But I see where you're coming from 100%. The whole demeanor of Klopp might have literally made him think, whoa, this guy's like, he's not the way he used to be. Like, he's not being sentimental. He's not playing me all the time. He's not going to play me when I'm crap.
Become cutthroat.
Yeah.
And everyone's been crying that Klopp needs to be this. Klopp needs to be more cutthroat. He can't be sentimental, and rightly so. And it's not only that. He saw Bobby leave, Milner leave, Ox leave, and Keita leave. Just leave the club, as in like they were going to get no contract, nothing. They're not staying. So he's like, maybe my time at Liverpool's done.
100%.
And to be fair,
Stevie would have played on that as well. Stevie would have played right on that, because Stevie would have compared him to him.
And Brendan Rodgers
had that season.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That one was more. I still think the Stevie and Rodgers one was more of a falling out between both of them.
Yeah, but still,
that's what I mean.
He said he didn't feel valued. Remember, Gerrard spoke about he didn't feel valued. And when he went to the MLS were giving him everything. They said, you're going to be the star man in midfield. They stroked the ego of a player. That's why he left. Of course, man. Next bit.
Makes me love Stevie even more.
Yeah. Next as well. This is from Ornstein, saying obviously the decision to move to Saudi Arabia prompted a backlash from fan groups, LGBTQ plus rights groups around Liverpool and the wider game. You will have seen many of the comments absolutely damning. They were urging you not to take it, and they hoped you would do the right thing in their eyes and reject the move. Did you start to have second thoughts? Were you talking to your wife, your advisors, and your friends? He goes on to say, every day, it was a difficult time, definitely. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to feel sorry for me. It was just difficult to make that decision. I've been at the club for so long, and a club that I love and have a lot of respect for, the fans, the owners, the manager, my teammates. To leave my teammates was a big thing. But in the end, I felt as though it was the right thing for them as well. But from the outside and people who don't know me, then it's a lot more challenging to understand. There can be a lot of criticism, a lot of negativity around me as a person, and that was difficult to take. But I feel as though because I do care about different causes that I've been involved in and different communities, I do care. And for the people to criticize and say that I turned my back on them really, really hurt me. When you say you were having those second thoughts, what were they about? Everything about the situation with the LGBTQ plus community and with everything that is being reported in Saudi. My family, footballing decisions, teammates. And again, I'm not just saying this for people to think, oh yeah, I'm just trying to give you some insight into what it was like. I spoke to many different people, and I trust who know me, who will challenge me. Crafton, what was it, therefore, that persuaded you? What reassured you? I think there was always going to be criticism, regardless of what I did, whether I stayed, whether I went. So basically, I had to make the decision on what was best for me and my family. So the football is the football side. So I do go somewhere and try something new to grow the game that I love in another country and grow the league into one of the best leagues in the world. That excites me because I want to grow the sport all over the world, and that got me going, really. And obviously, the LGBTQ plus community. I can understand the frustration. I can understand the anger. I get it. All I can say around that is that I'm sorry that they feel like that. My intention was never to hurt anyone. My intention has always been to help causes and communities where I felt like they had asked for my help. Now, when I was making the decision, the way that I tried to look at it was I felt as though by myself not going, we can all bury our heads in the sand and criticize different cultures and different countries from afar. But then nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Crafton. So what you're saying is by going and engaging, that brings a bigger possibility of change in some way. Henderson, I think that people know that my views and values were before, what my views and values were before I left, and still do now. And I think having someone with those views and values in Saudi Arabia is only a positive thing. So I would press you on that, because we were told that around the World Cup in Qatar, you go, you engage. But I was there in Qatar, walking down the street one day, saw a flag draped down with a rainbow symbol crossed out with the words that said, "Not welcome in Qatar." then supporters were trying to go into the stadiums and they were having rainbow T-shirts taken off them. There was a story about one person being stripped down and even having it taken off them by a security guard. So I suppose I'd ask, have you actually seen or heard any evidence of this change of this specific issue? Henderson, firstly, I'm not a politician. I never have been and never wanted to be. I have never tried to change laws or rules in England, never mind in a different country where I'm not from. So I'm not saying that I'm going there to do that. But what I'm saying is that people know what my values are, and the people who know me know what my values are. And my values don't change because I'm going to a different country where the laws of the country might be different. Now, I see that as a positive thing. I see that because from their side, they knew that before signing it. So they knew what my beliefs were. They knew what causes and campaigns I've done in the past. And not once was it brought up. Not once have they said, you can do this, you can't do this. And I think it can only be a positive thing to try open up like around Qatar. In the end, around Qatar, having a World Cup there has shined a light on certain issues where I think in the end, I might be wrong, but they changed some rules and regulations to be able to host the World Cup. And I think that's positive. That's the way you try to create positive change. And I'm not saying that I can do that. I'm one person. At Liverpool, a little thing which meant a lot to a lot of people was that you wore the rainbow laces and the rainbow armband. And during the rainbow laces campaign, when most players sign off a statement or quotes to go on a club website, you really engaged. You created expectations that people feel that you've not matched up to. So when you say you would continue to be the same person, would you wear rainbow laces still, or would you see that as disrespectful to Saudi people? I wouldn't rule that out. But at the same time, what I wouldn't do is disrespect the religion and culture in Saudi Arabia. If we're all saying everybody can be who they want to be and everybody is inclusive, then we'll have to respect that. We'll have to respect everyone. And by doing that, by doing something like that, if that did disrespect the religion, then no, I'm not going to do that. But if the opportunity comes where I can do it and it doesn't, then yeah, because that's my values. That strikes at the heart of the tension here, as there are laws in the country, but there are almost certainly gay Muslims in the region of Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, who are arguably the most important people in this discussion and feeling the brunt of that situation. To go back to the words that you have used in the past, everyone should be able to be themselves. That's where people see the issue. Yeah, I'm not an expert, I'm learning with this, but the way I'm going to try to be is I'm quite a positive person. So I like to think that by me going with the beliefs and values that I have, is that not a positive thing? I don't know. Let's take something that happened when Al-Ittihad announced your signing. There was a video that went out on social media from the club where it looked a lot to a lot of people as though in one of the pictures your armband, which was rainbow in the original, had been grayed out, and a lot of people interpreted that to mean maybe they have censored it or changed that. Do you know why that was the case? Henderson, I didn't know anything about that until that was out. And it was hard for me to know and understand everything because it's part of the religion. So if I wear the rainbow armband, if that disrespects their religion, and that's not right either. Everybody should be respectful of religion and culture. That's what I think we're all trying to fight for here in terms of inclusion and everything. You know, years ago, for instance, women or kids probably couldn't play football, but now I'm over there and there's loads of women and girls playing football. So slowly things can change. I can't promise anything, but what I can do is sit here and say I have my values and beliefs, and I strongly believe that by me playing in Saudi Arabia, is a positive thing. This is a long bit about the LGBTQ.
It's obviously going to dominate, innit? It dominated throughout the transfer saga.
You could skip that because he kind of just goes over it again and again.
Yeah,
because he's a gay guy and he wants to get some answers, but he doesn't.
We'll move on from that because there's a lot to unpack. Ram, leading that chat to me, man.
It's like what you guys said. He didn't really answer any of the questions, and it's almost as though he was going around in circles and circles and circles because he said, on one hand, I want to do what's right for the LGBTQ community, but on the other hand, I want to be inclusive to Saudi Arabia. It doesn't make any sense because he's just going around in circles and circles and circles, and it's just when you want an answer, he's just trying to be like he's trying to be a politician in the sense of he's trying to make everyone happy, but in this world, you can't please everybody. It's more or less you're on one side or the other, and there is no middle ground. So it's going to be a tough one for him to really answer, because he can't answer it. And G, you're a mug. I hate you, bro. But happy birthday.
John's in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, what I would say on that whole situation is, because I'm not part of the LGBTQ community, I'm never going to understand how the rainbow laces kind of support, how that kind of exposure helps their community directly, and the kind of impact that has on them. So I can't communicate on what Henderson's done in regards to that. One thing I would say though, is from Henderson's perspective, if you're not a politician, which you've stated you've never tried to be a politician, I would urge him to stay away from political agendas and political kind of discussions, because you start to engage in weird territory. And I think it works both ways. I think Henderson's obviously done it, but at the same time, I think people putting their hopes and faith in sports personalities and footballers and rappers and artists and entertainers and political agendas is misplaced. I think there are so many other people that do so many works with different kind of social issues that are doing a lot of work, yet people still look to the people that are in the public eye to go and kind of push forward these agendas and it never really ever works. It never works. So I think from Henderson's perspective, I get it. He's not a politician. He's just a footballer. But I can't sit here and say, look, I understand the kind of the plight of the LGBTQ community. All I can say is, I wouldn't, if I was a member, like even with like Black Lives Matter, I would never go and put my trust into like an artist or footballer to go and move a certain agenda, because it just never works. They're just these representative and they're more of these pawns in the whole scheme than people that can actually go and make a difference.
I think
it's the general community that make a difference, as opposed to this one footballer, this one individual. We're talking about Henderson. This isn't like Cristiano Ronaldo.
But JJ, you've hit the nail. You've hit the nail right in the head, JJ. You've hit the nail right in the head, in the sense of, even though he tried to be tried to do some good, people shouldn't put all their trust into one person, because at the end of the day, I will say this until the cows come home, everybody cares about themselves and their families. That is their main priority. And if there's something where he has to make a deal with the devil, most times or not, whether you are virtue signaling whatever, or you believe in something so passionately, your main priority is to provide for yourself and your family. And if that means making a deal with the so-called devil, they will do it. I guarantee you 99.99999% of people will do that. There will be the odd 0.01%, but majority of people would take it. And I think people need to stop having this idealistic view on footballers, personalities and stuff like that, and focus on people that actually do the stuff behind the scenes, that actually try and push things along. Because look, footballers are there.
Yourself.
Yeah, or get involved
yourself. If you
yourself.
really feel so strongly about it, get involved yourself.
Footballers
are
there.
Do something.
Footballers are there to play football. At the end of the day, they're there to play football.
That's their job.
That's their main job is to entertain you lot and play football and make
people need to understand this.
Happy.
They get paid buckets of money to play a sport that they love playing. Okay, like for me, it feels like he kind of got involved with the LGBTQ community stuff because it was going to get him some extra brownie points. Like, it was going to get him more notoriety. He was going to become more popular with people who support England, or I don't know. But he just turned the back completely on them and went to a country that put people in prison for being gay.
I think that's true.
And then he sits there and he goes, "Oh yeah, but they've changed rules. They changed rules for the World Cup so they could have the World Cup. they've changed the rules back again. Like,
yeah, one thing
he
I
knows
would
exactly what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
I'm not buying any of that at all.
I think one thing I would say is, and I think everyone is like this. I think everyone is like this, and this is everyone. People talk about being supporting isms and schisms, and you know this group, and I'm an ally of this community. You're not really, because as individuals, I'm going to be proper honest. We're selfish. We are selfish. Like I'm as a member of someone that's half black, I'm probably more prone to I'm going to be more supportive of black issues, as an example, to Tamil issues, Ram, as an example. I will be naturally. I can empathize, I can sympathize with your thing, but at the end of the day, I only care about my cause. And
it's like what Denzel said, isn't it? Denzel said it. If you don't know, if you've never been in that situation or that scenario, you will never know completely what it's really about.
And that's my point. So no matter how much I am like, and it's there might be something that I'm very passionate about, but at the end of the day, if you get involved in it, it ultimately becomes a very selfish goal. Because if you went and spoke to someone in the LGBTQ community and spoke to them, hey, do you want to go and push this agenda over the Ukraine agenda, as an example, right? That people have got their issues on and queries about. Some people would go and push a different narrative because it suits their agenda a bit more than the other one. And that's what I'm trying to say is Henderson might have been an ally. I'm not going to go and question that. Maybe he is, but he's not a die-hard kind of, supporter of the LGBTQ community where he's going to parades and he's going to like speeches and talks and trying to move stuff in public office. So, and people aren't going to go and do that. I can go and talk to you here like, yeah, I care about the environment. I try to recycle. I try to do this. I try to do that. At the end of the day, it's not something that I'm that passionate about. So if I had to go to a country like the US that's known for not really recycling, I'd probably go and live there. Someone gave me a lot of money. But that's not to go and say I don't care about an agenda, but it's the idea that people attributed someone's support with this kind of die-hard, kind of unwavering kind of, do you know what I mean, a rally behind something. And I think that's where, I think Henderson's he's flopped on that situation because he's
what I don't get
appeared that way, but it's also obviously just people have attributed Henderson with this narrative that he never really emphasized. That he never ever came out and said, "Yeah, I need to go and take this to politics or do anything like that." We just kind of assumed.
You know what I don't get? I don't get why he didn't do this earlier so he wouldn't get this backlash. Like, he had plenty of time to literally sit down and say, "Look, I did this in the UK. I am this, I am that, but I'm not going to be that guy that's going to take this to the hill." You know what I mean? I'm not going to die on the sword. I'm doing this for my family. Like, he could have explained that earlier.
No, but imagine he said that. No, but imagine he said that actually. Yeah, I know I said this, but push comes to shove. It's like what I say, right? And I always say this to people, right? And when they talk about their causes and stuff that they've got rights about, right? I say this to I say to my brother, my missus, everyone. I used to always say it. We used to always say to each other, "Would you die for it?" And what I mean by that is, do you wholeheartedly believe in what you're saying so much that you'll die for it? And I literally mean die for it. And I think when you can answer that question, that then means how much you support that cause. So if I asked any one of you guys, hey, if you had to go and protect your mom or protect your partner or protect your child, would you go and die for that cause? You would die for that cause. But if for example, someone went and told me now, yeah, I've got to go and die for environmental issues, like I've got to go and sacrifice my life for environmental issues, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go and do that. And that's me being really, really honest. And then someone might clip it up and be honest, but I'm not going to go and die for that because it's not something that is of a higher priority in my life. But that's why I go and caveat that by saying I can't really comment more on that situation because I'm not part of the LGBTQ community. So I don't know how that situation affects them. I'm never going to understand what the Rainbow Laces campaign means. It's the same way, like the Black Lives Matter campaign. Like I I think that just, for me, I don't want to kind of attribute them the same, but I just think it's kind of bogus at the end of the day, and that's coming from someone that's of black heritage. So,
I mean,
yeah,
you know where the actual words came from, don't you? The actual letters.
yeah.
I'm not going to go into that with you. We can
Yeah,
take that
but-
offline.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. RJ, as an example, this is what I'm saying. Like tomorrow, Jerry chaining himself to the road in the M6. This is what I'm saying. There's certain people that believe in the environment and they're willing to stand in front of a car and get run over. Me, I've got places to be. Do you know what I mean? If my cinema, if I've got a cinema booking, like, do you know what I mean, for 8 o'clock, and someone's doing that at 7:30, best believe I'm going to get frustrated. I'm not joining them on that cause, but it's because I don't believe in it. And I think people need to just be honest about that. And I think if Henderson was honest about that, like K-Max said, I think it would be a bit different, man. I think it would be a bit different. We got here saying, RJ saying, sports is to unite people, not to medicate people into tribal addiction to entertain the masses. Yeah, I'm going to be careful what comments I go and put out, because I need people to obviously be issues as well. Big up to honesty with those comments. I'm seeing a lot of them, but I've just got to be careful.
Yeah, try not to say that country's name again, mate. Just a warning.
Yeah.
Like,
Redbird saying,
Mm.
I believe in my morals, but I respect a culture that goes against my morals. It's the hypocrisy that stinks. Simple. I hear you 100%. What else we got here? Big up to G saying, do we understand that he isn't part of that community? He was just a voice. Voice is gone for footballing reasons. Surprise. Why are we all acting like this is a kick in the teeth? Fair point. I think that's a fair point. RJ saying, if you don't know, interviewed by sports people and celebrities, anybody in the Pipkin realm is about PR, about brand PR. It's not who they are, you guys. Can't all be so gullible. I hear you. Trudon saying, humans are hypocrites by nature. We all are. Facts. I think that's what it is, man. 100%, man. So yeah, that was crazy. I think it's best to obviously move on from obviously that Henderson situation. We spoke about, I think it's obviously very, very interesting, but as I said, the biggest issue that was spoken about, I can't really engage in it more. As I said, I don't want to go and be a spokesperson for something that I'm not.
Can I just throw a conspiracy theory at you?
Go on.
So, and I'd love to know what you think about this as well, Ram. It's the timing, by the way. Okay, so Virgil van Dijk gets offered a new contract. Yeah, Henderson doesn't. Henderson goes running to the media. Yeah, so says that he wasn't offered a new contract. Klopp then goes to FSG and says he wants to give Henderson a new contract. Yeah, Henderson gets a new contract. Michael Edwards leaves the club. Yeah, Julian Ward takes over from Michael Edwards. He leaves the club. Jordan Henderson leaves to go to Saudi Arabia. Look who's in the news of coming back to Liverpool.
I'm not gonna lie.
Michael Edwards.
If that's the case, then the fact that Liverpool have allowed Henderson in that conspiracy, if they've allowed Henderson to start running things like that, that's crazy. There's no, I just don't see that happening.
Conspiracy theory. That's all.
No player can ever run a club, in my opinion. That's a message to PSG as well. Mbappe. Message to
He
PSG.
just signed all his mates.
Yeah, literally, it makes zero sense.
To be fair though, with Mbappe, that's just moving off. That forward line might be scary because of the connection. They're all French. They're all French, but they're all from Paris, and they've all got that, you know. There's that patriotism, and sometimes that can work. Sometimes that can work.
And so camaraderie as well.
Exactly. It's the camaraderie. It's the fact that they're willing to work for each other. And if they can stay fit, you never know, man. I think PSG will wait for the Champions League, man. We'll wait for that. I can't wait. I'm so annoyed that we ain't got the Champions League show this year, man.
I think France are going to be on
We've got
something
Europa
good as well.
Flipping league, man.
Europa one. It's
Go
just
away,
man. Cool. Going to get into some of the comments as well before we obviously chat about the next topic quickly, which is obviously Salah, and that's going to be an interesting one, man. We got Red for Life.
I beg JJ, no bad vibes, please, no bad vibes.
I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm just going to be honest. We got Red for Life saying Thiago is only at the club to receive world-class physio at this point. We got Ultra Freestyle Swordsman, Mr. Bunda Hunter saying, JJ, could you argue social media fans have an effect? Genie mentioned about this when he left, where he felt social media fans never supported him. Could this play a part in Hender's behavior? 100%.
100.
Imagine going on social media under your posts, everywhere you open, people like get out of the club, get out of the club, get out of the club. Like, this is why I'm saying the fact that he's gone, I can't believe people are that outraged when they wanted him to go anyway. Why he goes doesn't matter at this point. Why he goes, it's not the situation like with Salah. It's not like with Salah they've gone and said, oh, like Salah just left, and we're like, oh my god, how could he go? And like we wanted him to go. This is
what I don't get. This is what I don't get. The people that were outraged that he left, or people that actually wanted him to leave, are now outraged that he actually left. I am so confused. But as in, like, why the hell do you give a damn? I know one person gave a damn for one specific reason, and big up to that person. But he's a bit of a weirdo when he does that. But it makes no sense. Like, you wanted him gone, and yet you're still crying about the fact that he gave his reason why he left. Be happy that he's left for the betterment of the club. Why are you just making a big deal out of it? He literally said it himself. The club didn't think I was good enough. So I left.
He didn't leave on the detriment of the club. He left on his terms. Like, he didn't go, oh, I'm going to leave now because I'm not good enough and I want Liverpool to move on. Like, he left because Klopp wasn't going to play him anymore, and he was getting a big pay rise. And he'd go and play with his mate Stevie.
But Bobby done the same thing. Like Fabinho done the same thing. Mane done the same thing. They all done the same thing. What? Mane, what, you're bringing in Diaz?
No, but they weren't told they weren't going to play. Like, they were still going to play. Like, they were begged to stay.
Yeah, they were going to play a reduced role that they didn't want. That's like the whole idea. No player is like that. No player is comfortable. We're like, yeah, you're going to play. Like Gomez, yeah, you're just going to go and play. They want to play every single game.
I'm going to play so well that you're going to pick me.
But at the same time, when you've gone and done something for like 6, 7, 8 years at the top level, an ego comes with that. Look what I've won. How dare you even talk about try put me in that category that we were like 6, 7 years ago, when it's like you're coming in and you've got to try and work. At this point, you're established. It's like then Real Madrid were never gonna ever go and be like, hey, Ronaldo, we're going to get some competition for you and we're going to see how you react to that and you've got to prove it to us. It's like, no, you're the guy. The same way we do with Salah. We keep talking about wanting cover for Salah. We're never going to get cover for Salah because in order to keep Salah about, you need to go and make him feel like he's wanted. That's just how it is.
Man's never dropping his standards, though.
No. He has in regards to what he's done. It's just that his standards are so good. Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. You're
just better than everyone else's.
Exactly, but you got 35. You got what, 33 or 32 goals in one season. Got a 30 the next, and after that, he's getting 19 and 18. If this was another team, a certain team, I mean, in Madrid, they'll be like, "Hey, listen, something's not right. We might have to get some." Do you know what I mean? Some competition. We've got Red Bird D9 saying hypocrisy. He said the club didn't want him, but Klopp did, saying he wouldn't get as many minutes. We spoke about already. We've got Red for Life saying on the money side of things, I've heard a lot of people talking about generational wealth with these Saudi deals. What have these players been doing with the millions they've been earning already? They have done, but it's not generational. It's not generational wealth. I think generational wealth is hundreds and hundreds of years from now, your family's sorted. That's the difference. We've got Ultra saying, also, JJ, look at all of Henderson's posts, all comments telling him to leave. When he does, people are still not happy. Facts.
Even when he has a good game, they just say, just leave. That
Yeah,
must be
exactly.
the sick thing.
M Time Izzy, big up to yourself, saying question. Who do you think will be the next prospect like Gabby Vega? Now Al-Ali will move to the Saudi in the next
Turkish
window.
brother.
What, the one from Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Maybe. But what has he played or where is he?
I don't think he's played.
He's good though, man. I can't believe he went there.
I would say any young player who's got a year left in their contract, I reckon their agents will be all over them, offering them just ridiculous money.
I think what will be really scary, and it's different to the Chinese league, is that once they secure all the names, young players will want to go and play with the names. Players want to play with players.
We had a scare, didn't we? We had one scare.
Yep.
It was Oscar that went. I was like, oh crap.
But the difference is they couldn't carry on funding it because of their economy and how everything moved, and they had to have league changes with how many foreign players they could have. It's a communist state. The Saudi state's different, and the money's not going to run out. So all that happens is we sign the best players in the world, which means all the eyes are on that league. All the sponsorships are in that league. Think about it. All the sponsorships, all the eyes, everyone's on that league. And then what do? We go and poach all the other players that are up and coming. And they're going to go. I'm telling you now, the Saudi league will become like the NBA. The Saudi league will become like the NBA soon. And we spoke about Super League. This is why, I guarantee you, this is one of the major reasons why the Super League was even spoken about by the US kind of owners. Because they knew this was happening. They would have known this is happening. This has been in the plan, in the works for years now.
And why was it that
Saudi were doing this?
Why was it that PSG and Man City and teams like that were the last ones to join?
I read an article by Richard Keys that said the only reason the Super League didn't happen is because PSG and Bayern Munich wouldn't join. But it was all done by Saudi. It was all backed by Saudi.
No, it was backed by Saudi, but at the same time,
that's why it didn't happen. Because Bayern Munich, PSG wouldn't join.
The Saudi League. Remember, the Saudi Arabians, it's been about 10 years now where they've been speaking about, since purchasing the likes of Man City, since purchasing PSG, have spoken about the fact that, look, what we're trying to do, we're trying to go and make Saudi football great. So this has been in the works, and they would have known, the American owners would have known this is happening and would have tried to go and keep all the value in those leagues, knowing that once this happens, now we're in trouble.
I'll tell you what, now we're out the Champions League.
Like, how do
Champions League? I bet everyone wishes we'd join the European Super League now.
Exactly. It's like, for me, I look at it. It's like how, like, people speak about, like Ruben Neves. He can join there, and then he can come back to the Premier League in 2 years. Why is he going to come back to the Premier League if he can carry on earning 350k a week for a player that's probably max going to get 60, 70, unless he was to go and perform more? He's never going to ever move, ever. And you saw it with Hulk. We saw it with until the league broke down. These players weren't leaving from the Chinese league.
They were happy, man.
They were happy, and I'm telling you now.
Rafa Benitez was managing out there.
That's my point. Give it
until Madrid came along.
Couple years.
Yeah.
Until his boyhood card came along, he was there.
And even then, the Chinese league was already breaking down. The rules had started. You couldn't have foreign players. They started imposing sanctions on the teams. It just wasn't feasible. But I'm telling you now, who's the face of Nike at the moment? Ronaldo. For football, it's Ronaldo still.
I thought it was Neymar.
Is it Ronaldo?
No,
I thought it was Mbappe. Sorry, Mbappe.
Neymar's with Puma. Mbappe. And guess who they tried to go and sign? Who did the Saudis try to go and sign? And who did the PSG guys actually accept the bid from? They said, hey, cool. It's down to the player. We've accepted the bid.
1 billion contracts. Surprised he turned it down, to be fair.
Is Mo Salah with Nike?
No, Adidas.
He's with Adidas also, yeah.
Neymar with Puma. Money. We got honestly saying question for all of you. How do you guys think Klopp will react to the Hendo interview? Very good question. And 2, why are people saying Edwards might come back? Let's go around quickly. I'll start with Ram and then K-Mac. How do you think Klopp will react to the Hendo interview?
Of course, you go with me first, man. Mug. I think what you do is just, I think, because it's a player that is gone, he'll be, you kind of brush it off. I think he will brush it off as in, like, look, Hendo's not with us anymore. We got Soboslai, we got McAllister, we got players like that. I don't think we need to think about anybody else anymore. That's something along the lines of that. I think he'll just brush it off, in my opinion. And the second question about Edwards might come back, highly doubt it. I think we might get Phil Mitchell, though. I have a feeling Phil Mitchell might come.
I'm sorry, when I hear Phil Mitchell, I just think of like EastEnders, so that's mad to me. I thought people were joking when they were like Phil Mitchell.
Wait, is it Phil Mitchell or Paul Mitchell?
It's Paul.
Paul
but
Mitchell,
I wanted to let you carry on saying that.
Everyone keeps saying Phil Mitchell, and that's throwing me off. I'm like, what, is Grant going to join him as well? What's going on? K-Mac.
Thanks, K-Mac.
I knew someone in the chat had write it, so yeah, I thought I'd tell you. Sorry. He's a Man United supporter, by the way. Yeah. I think Klopp will be disappointed. I do. I think he probably would have expected a bit more from a guy that he trusted and really backed. Like Klopp has backed him a lot. Like, to the detriment of our team, he's been backed. Because we all know that if Henderson had been moved on and we'd have got, I don't know, an Enzo Fernandez or a Caicedo or someone like that, like, you know, I don't know, another player in the last couple of years, we'd have been in a different position. We'd have challenged more. Like that's my whole thoughts on it. And he's backed him a lot, and he still wanted to keep him. So I think Klopp will be disappointed. And at the end of the day, Klopp might not be surprised, because I genuinely believe he's quite toxic, and you know my thoughts on him. I still think he's been a great player and an ambassador and, you know, a club legend and all that, but I still think there's a lot of ego with Hendo, especially with England. And the other point, Edwards, I actually think the whole Edwards thing is a smokescreen because Salah's being sold. I just think it's another media spin to make the fans, you know, think about something else and to get all excited about, oh, we're getting a new director of football. We're getting him back. He's going to get us a new Salah. And then Salah gets flogged.
I mean, look,
I don't want him to be sold, by the way.
That's a great segue. Great segue. Might as well get up.
Yeah, we planned that.
Yeah, that was a great 2 seconds here. Let me get it up. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so sorry, great segue. Can't really sort my camera's acting up, but great segue, man. In my opinion, in comparison to that, I think Klopp doesn't really care. And the reason being, I don't think Henderson said anything that was out of line or out of order. If I'm being honest, I think he was honest about the situation. Said he's got respect for Klopp, say he's got respect for his teammates. Actually, Klopp actually came out, and I'd actually urge, I think it's on the Liverpool website, Klopp speaks about how, you know, Henderson, before he left, he actually went to the training ground to say bye face to face to everyone, to all the players, all the staff, everyone. And Klopp was like, wow, that was actually a surprise. It was like, wow, a really, really nice surprise. So I don't think there's any ill feelings towards the pair. And for me, Michael Edwards, yeah, I've got to agree with K-Mac. And the rumour is obviously £250 million bid for Salah being prepped as we speak. Saudi delegation, arriving in England as Liverpool brace themselves for that offer, man. Ram, are you accepting?
Nah. I've got to stay firm in it because I'm still trying to wonder how are we going to work around it at this moment in time when he does go. Because what we're going to miss is output, tremendous amount of output. And I don't know how we can replace it. You could say something along the lines of Szoboszlai play right wing, Gravenberch play centre mid. Then we start making chances for Nunes and Gakpo. It'll be more advanced. There'll be more of like a proper striker. We'll be playing sort of as a system that accommodates actual number 9s. It's just too much change. And I feel as though if we do sell Mohamed Salah, there will be a lot of change. And at this moment, we can't afford to have a lot of change. We've already had a really good start. I want us to continue that momentum. So, yeah, I wouldn't sell, in my opinion.
Okay, Matt, would you sell?
215.
50 or 50 million euros.
15.
Yeah.
I feel I've started to kind of just resign to the fact that we are going to have to move on from him eventually. And the fact that we've completely ripped out all our midfield and rebuilt it, and just look at it, like you just look at how good Dominic Szoboszlai is. He's played 4 games. He's played 4 games, and he looks like a Rolls Royce. McAllister looks like a Rolls Royce. Like Curtis Jones looks like he's going to be a regular. You know, I just feel like if you want to start looking at Tottenham and start going, they've got goals all over the pitch now. Now they've lost Kane. So much was going to Kane, and the team was relying on him more than anything else. And I feel like we're never going to be able to move away from that if we don't start looking at moving away from Salah. And I just feel like 215 million, it gets you a defender, it gets you a central defender, it gets you a right back, it gets you a left back. You know, it gets you a new DM. Like, it really does give you so much more. And I also feel like we're at a stage now where the club's willing to spend. Like players can be bought. Money is there and it's available. Like, we just offered 111 million for Caicedo, whether it was a PR stunt or not. That money went to Brighton. And if they'd said yes, and Caicedo said yes, that was happening. Like, that was confirmed by their chairman. So I feel like 215 million cash goes back into Klopp's transfer kitty to reinforce the team in January. You can't turn it down.
Do you know what I'm worried about, though, K-Mac? I feel as though this could be like a situation where United sold Ronaldo and they replaced him with Obertan, some other players, and some other players.
No,
as
but
well.
Didn't they get Tevez after that? Or was Tevez
no,
before?
Tevez left City the season after. Because they got him. Because remember the front three of Rooney, Tevez, and Ronaldo.
Yeah, you're right.
I have a feeling.
Was it Berber?
Now, Berber was season before Ronaldo left, so 08-09.
Hold on. So when did Ronaldo leave?
09-10.
Zaha.
The one was not Zaha.
No, Zaha. No, Zaha was before.
Zaha was like 2007 time. 2009. I'm gonna have a look now. It's actually bugged.
2009. Yeah. All right.
2009-10 season. That's when they sold him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bought Owen, Valencia, Obertan, and Mame Briam Diouf.
Is that it? It can't be.
That was it, man.
And that was with the Ronaldo money.
Yep.
Yeah, but you look at all those players. They're all attackers, aren't they?
Yeah.
We're not going to buy attackers.
But still, Mame Briam Diouf. Hold on. Who did they get? No. They signed.
Not Meaty, by the
Bebe.
way. Sorry.
No, they signed Bebe.
Really, JJ, of all players, Bebe. You got a name, it's Bebe. Come on.
Actually, no. I'm looking at 10-11. It's 9-10. Yeah, but at the time, they thought he was a baller, innit? They thought They thought Bebe was the
Nah, do you know who was the replacement? Nani was meant to be the Ronaldo replacement.
No, it was
Nani
Bebe.
and Anderson they bought, didn't they?
Yeah, Anderson. That's another one as well.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
Anderson they bought in 07-08.
It was Valencia. That's the one you just said.
Yeah, Valencia was so cool.
It was Antonio Valencia. It was Antonio Valencia. I know. See, Obertan as well. They brought in as a
Young option
or whatever, young option, and then Mame Biram Diouf was from Molde.
He was supposed to be the real deal though, Diouf. Like,
yeah.
Oh, he had all the physical attributes. He had all the physical
Valencia
attributes.
was fantastic. What a player he was.
Even at Stoke, he was decent, but at times. And Obertan was just, mad. But I hear you. Do you know what it is though? The reason why I was thinking about it, AFCON's this January, right? Can Liverpool not deal with without Salah for a couple of months and then get someone in January?
I want Mbappe, bro.
No, I hear that. But what I'm saying is,
I want Mbappe. I just don't want his mum on the board.
Think about it.
No one's a Liverpool fan, I swear.
Look,
yeah, I don't want her on the board.
Yeah. But look, Salah for me, like it's more of an ambition type of thing for me. Salah doesn't really affect whether we get into the top 4 or not. He doesn't. Output is great. Assists are great. But I think our team is good enough to get into the top 4 if everyone's firing. I think if Liverpool can add in January, I think Liverpool have enough forwards and they're going to score goals. I think they just are. Our forward, we create too many chances for us not to score goals. Like even Darwin Núñez has the most chances in our team. You can't finish, but he has the most chances, so we create chances. If we sell Salah for 250, as opposed to 100 in January, or 90 or 80 in the summer, that's 100 million plus more than we'd have. I think we could cope, September to December? 3 months?
No.
I think we could.
Have you talked about the money that he's going to get?
Oh yeah, we know.
The stuff he's going to get is just it's insane.
Yeah. But obviously we don't care about that. Ram doesn't care about what he's getting. He doesn't care about Salah. But for me, if you can go and do that, and he's gone for January as well, I think Liverpool can do that. I think it gives Liverpool a lot of time to go and find a player. I think it does.
Like, can we stay in the top 3 for 4 months without Salah? And my answer
I don't
is
think
yes.
so.
My answer is yes.
No, but of course we can, Ram. Because otherwise what we're saying is we're Salah and bust. That's it. That anything else Liverpool have done, the signings, our midfield signings, the signing of Núñez, people telling me he can come good, Gakpo, Diaz that people are raving about. In fact, we've got Jota and you've spoken about him. It means those guys don't matter. It's just Salah. And we're basically saying our other forward options are of a similar level to like.
Because we haven't got any other right wingers. Offensive-minded right wingers.
But it's not about that. Can we say? Can Liverpool stay? No. Can Liverpool stay?
We can't do the fact that we're putting square pegs in round holes, bro.
But that's not putting square pegs in round holes.
How are we putting square pegs in round holes?
Because like, you're telling me about Jota, Gakpo, and Diaz.
I think they can play as a right winger. You could play Dominic Szoboszlai there.
I think it'll stink, bro. Honestly, I think it will be bad.
No, he won't.
No, he won't. He just be more out. He'd just be like, yeah, all I'm doing is I'm on the right hand side.
More direct to Núñez.
And balls into the box for Núñez.
Are we acting as if we haven't seen it before and it's stunk?
One game you've seen.
A couple of games and it's stunk.
No, Diaz hasn't played on the right for a couple of games. He hasn't.
I've seen the best game I've ever seen in my life when we beat Barcelona 4-0. And guess who wasn't in the team?
Salah and Firmino. Yes, everyone goes on about that. But you also have to remember that was prime Virgil van Dijk.
But life goes on.
Prime Matip.
I love Salah, okay? I think Salah's incredible, okay? I really do. But he's going to leave us. Like, Do we
And I'm
get
okay
rid of
with
him
the next
now
season
and earn an
when we
extra
actually have a
100 million?
plan.
Or do
No,
we
but
not?
you can't do that. But hold on, are you willing? Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Just as an entity, if I told you I can give you 250 million pound now for your house, right? Or I can go and give you 50 million for it in the summer.
It won't be 50. No,
It will.
won't be.
But I guarantee you it will be. I guarantee you it will be.
No, it won't.
What? So you're going to let him go for free the season after?
No.
That's my point.
We're still gonna get good money. It's a well-known fact
I don't
that
think we will.
Saudi Arabia are
33-year-old.
desperate to sign
For a
Mohamed
32,
Salah as soon
33-year-old.
as possible.
For a 32 turning 33-year-old.
I think you'll get
Yeah,
less
and do you
than
know what
100
else
million.
is going to happen to Mohamed Salah? He will start to decline, and the product won't be as good, and he won't get that marketability that he has in this season. That's why they're desperate to have him now.
Okay,
What happens if he goes to Saudi after 33 years old and just drops off a cliff? The product won't be as good, and
they won't pay for it. That's my point. So they won't pay for it. That's my point. Is what you're saying.
And they won't get that much more money. They'd rather put the money in now and then get the player.
But that's why they won't pay for the asset, because we want him now. Not I want the car. I want the car with 80,000 miles now, not in next year when you've been driving it, doing road trips with your family, and it's now got another 20,000 miles on the clock. I want it now. So I'm paying you the money now. I'm not going to pay you nowhere near that amount next year.
But still, I'm not talking about 200 odd million. I'm talking about circa 80 to 100 million.
80 million? You're taking the liberties. 80 million for Salah.
If they desperately want that player, I know how desperate they want this player. I am gonna take them to pillar to high post.
Yes, 80. From 250, you've dropped to 80. Oh, come on, man.
Can I just say something else? And it's not about the money, okay? And this is me just being completely honest, all right? And we've experienced this already. Do you remember the drop-off we got when Salah was negotiating his contract?
Yeah.
Do you remember that drop-off?
AFCON.
Do you remember that drop-off? Do you remember the mentality of him? And I know he's a monster, but when he lost in the AFCON, there was a massive drop-off. When he was negotiating his contract, there was a drop-off. When he signed his contract, there was a drop-off. There's moments in his career where what's happening behind the scenes affects him. He could take this, us rejecting all of these bids, this could affect him, and he could take this into the next 4 months. And then we're going to sell him in January anyway, because he'll put a transfer request in, or they'll come back with another bid and we'll accept it because it's like 100 million or whatever. And we'll sit here thinking, we could have sold him for 215 million. And you know what? You know the biggest thing of all of it? I want us to break the world record in transfer being sold.
So then
I want that to come from Liverpool. And I think Mo Salah deserves to be that guy.
So why not 300 million?
Well, why not 300 million? But you're saying don't sell him at all.
It's negotiation, isn't it? It's negotiation.
Look, if we end up selling this guy for 300 million, which is more or less 100 million more than what...
I'm sorry.
No, double the amount PSG paid for Kylian Mbappe, then it's a different story.
But Ram, Salah to us, the Champions League money we would earn, right, from being in the Champions League or for getting Champions League, even winning the league, is nowhere close to the amount we'd get for selling Salah.
Or more Champions League.
No, but they spoke about with the whole Harry Kane situation. I'll get it up from Tifo. Tifo broke it down when they were talking about the Harry Kane situation.
Are we talking about just prize money, or are you talking about the actual TV rights as well?
Prize money and TV rights. It doesn't come close. When they were talking about Harry Kane and selling Harry Kane for 100.
I know for a fact when we won the Champions League on prize money alone, it was around 80 million.
Exactly.
80. Alone, not talking about TV at all.
Yes. You're not,
and sponsorships and advertising, all that.
Yeah, you're not getting 250. You're not getting 250. Liverpool turnover 400. You're not getting 250. Liverpool turnover 400.
Like I said, if you're talking 300 million I'm here for the conversation.
If
you want him that desperately, and seeing as though you took the piss by doing it at the end of literally the end of our window, we want big money. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm taking the piss.
I hear you. I agree. If they want to pay 500, if they want to pay 500, take it. Of course, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if they say to you, it's 250 million euros, that's the most I'm willing to go and give you. Are you going to turn that down for 80 or 90 in the summer? If everything goes well, and that's if that happens. Bear in mind, there's no guarantee. Bear in mind, we're not guaranteed to finish in the Champions League. Nothing's guaranteed.
But it's not 250 guaranteed, is it?
It's they want 215 guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's not what they offer.
You know the add-ons. No, it is. And guess what? And you know the add-ons will be mad. You know the add-ons, even the add-ons will just be like, yes, he needs to score 20 goals in the league. Salah needs to win the Asian Cup.
I want. If I
that's
was
the
Liverpool,
reason why. That's
because
the reason
they
why
took the piss.
100
They took the piss. I want double the amount PSG signed for Kylian Mbappe.
I hear that, but you're missing the point, Ram.
I don't care. No, I'm not missing the point.
You don't get double.
Rams,
you don't
Rams,
get
they're
double.
not going to go
Are you
from
taking
100 million
215? Are you taking
to
215?
400?
Or are you taking? Yeah. Are you taking 215 or are you taking 80? That's it.
250.
You'll guess. By the way, he's going. Like, hypothetically speaking, he's going either now or at the end of the year, at the end of the season. You can either take 200, and you can have Salah for, and you can get a player on a 5-year contract. You can build that player. You can do everything you want. You can go and get the next person in and do this rebuild. Or you have Salah for 4 months and you get 80 mil from that. And it means that the type of player you can go and get isn't the same because you won't have that money. And you know FSG aren't going to put money in to go and buy a player.
So what do you think they're going to do the same thing with 250?
We know it's 250. If we get 80...
How do you know that FSG will put all 250 into the club?
But guess what? That's more realistic of them spending a large proportion of that 250 than it is them spending 80 million. 80 million is chicken change. Kolo Muani was 80 million. Would you be happy with him replacing Salah? You can't even get 2 Kolo Muanis. That's that one. Give him that number 11 shirt.
What you have to look at as well is if he plays it right, then we basically do what we did when we sold Coutinho.
Exactly.
We bought the spine.
And that's
we bought the spine.
And the right wing market is so poor at this moment.
Did you think Salah was going to be how Salah was? That right wing market was poor then as well, man. No one looked back.
I thought he would get right wing.
I thought he would get 25 GA a season.
I didn't think so. I'm telling you now, I didn't think so. I just thought, yeah, we finally got the player that we always wanted, when he went to Chelsea. That's the way I looked at it.
Like I said, they could put 250 million pounds up front. I'm here for the conversation.
Okay, cool.
Negotiations have started.
Cool.
But I still want 300
Jarrett Bowen, by the way. People are saying Jarrett Bowen's useless.
I
would take Jarrett Bowen.
Oh, I want Mbappe. I'm sorry, I'm really greedy. I want Mbappe.
He's so a Klopp player.
Yeah, or Mbomo as well. Mbomo from Brentford, he's a Klopp player.
Yeah,
as well.
they're Klopp players.
Honestly saying, big up boys. Question: our players came out and said we want and need to win the league. Do you guys think the club and players have got their winning mentality back compared to last season?
Hope to God.
I think the players do because they're a new set of players, and I think some of the old guard want to kind of get back to where they were. It's funny, the manager said no. He said top 4's the aim, innit? That's the minimum. Whereas the players weren't talking about minimum, they were talking about winning everything. So we'll have to wait and see. We've got Honesty saying, is there any truth of FSG selling if we get a competent bid? And if so, I have a strong feeling it will be someone from Singapore. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
We read that article. Do you remember we read that article on your show before? And it said the reason why they haven't accepted is because they don't want the backlash. So they obviously will accept. They just want Salah to say he wants to go, so the fans don't go nuts.
Yeah, shout out to Jamrock saying, where's the 80 million coming from? I'm saying hypothetically, Liverpool don't sell Salah for 100 million in the summer. They just don't. I'm telling you that for free. I'm telling you that for free, man. That's my opinion, man.
Neymar went for 85. Neymar went for 85.
It'll be 85 plus add-ons.
Salah,
it's just... 85 plus add-ons. It'll be like 80 plus add-ons that look like 100 million, but it'll be like 85 plus add-ons. They'll 100% do that. Big country, shout out to yourself saying, I think Salah will play till 40 and Salah wants a legacy in football. He wants to stay and we will come back in for him no matter what, the biggest Muslim, and they will come back in for him no matter what. He's the biggest Muslim football player in the world. Maybe so. Maybe so. RJ saying, oh my God, this nonsense about there not being any good players, a DM, a right back, a right winger, etc. Those are excuses.
So give me names then. Give me names that are right wingers that are of that quality.
I would actually bet you it will be 100 million total package. It will be like 85 million plus add-ons for Salah if we don't sell him now.
Jared, give me names of Salah's quality. Don't give me no random ass players.
Because Klopp didn't have the names before Salah and Mane, and you know what I mean. They weren't big names.
But even then, Salah was more. Salah had shown himself in Serie A.
Yeah, but it weren't anything mad though. It wasn't.
It wasn't anything mad, but it's still very, very good.
No, it was good, but like, who else is good, man? Like Kolo Muani's was good.
Kolo Muani wasn't that good.
Bowens was good. Bowens was good for a couple of seasons.
Last season?
In the season before.
Last season
for 3 years.
Yeah, but West Ham were poor. But even the season before, he was good, and he was clutch, and he started the season on fire as well.
Bowens won the Europa Conference League as well, so he's a winner as well. Look, I don't want Bowen. I want Elise, but that's just my opinion.
Jamrock saying, has Salah given any indication? What's going on? Has Salah given any indication that he wants to leave this season? Well, he hasn't come out and shut off any rumours.
And he hasn't said he doesn't want to leave.
And a club wouldn't go, and the Saudis wouldn't go and try to go and bid for a player if they didn't get indication that the player is willing to go and move there.
Twice.
They're not Liverpool. They're just not Liverpool. We got D-Dubs saying, what's good, fellas? From each of you, what 3 names would you put on a shortlist to replace Salah? Give one name each. Give one name each. So go on, Ram.
One of the names is already gone.
Who?
Mr. Diaby.
You can still probably get him after a year.
No way. They will not sell. If Aston Villa have another good season, they will be asking for circa 100 million, and they will not give.
And you wouldn't sign him for 100 million if we sold Salah for 250.
No fucking way.
But if you think he's a Salah replacement, then clearly, you must think that he can get to that level.
100 million.
Grealish was 100. Grealish was 100. You actually think that Diaby will never be able to get to that level of player? He never ever like. So what
you're talking about actually spending money in the right areas. So that will be that'll literally be less, just under half our budget gone on one player. And not to mention that we still have to pay excruciatingly enormous price tags because we are Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah, so I'm saying if you pay 100 million on Moussa Diaby, that is still substantially less than you got for Mo Salah. You've said Moussa Diaby is the replacement for Salah that you think is gone. So you're telling me he can never get to that Salah level. He'll never be £100 million player. So why are we getting him?
To be fair, not many players in the world, in my opinion, other than Kylian Mbappe, that can get to Salah's level.
No, but so why are we going for Moussa Diaby then? To do what? To party? To vibe?
Because we think he could be a good player for the entire team.
Do you think he could be like come in and be the guy? The same way we spoke about if Guardiola comes to Liverpool, he could be that Virgil replacement. Are you trying to tell me that? Yeah, like Salah, because otherwise we might as well just go and try buy a different type of winger. Then buy a winger that's more creative. Don't even
That's
go.
what
and,
I think he
try and
might be
get goals.
doing.
Maybe so. Maybe so. K-Mac? Elise.
So 3 players all right-sided, by the way,
One.
because
Yeah.
one.
One. We're doing one. It's 3 players, but 1 each.
I mean, we could go and get Elise. He's got like a £60 million release clause now because he signed a new contract. So we can go and get him. Nico Williams, he's available. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Not the one that used to play for us, the one who plays in Spain.
Nico Williams
and
Jr.
Yeah.
Like Kavicha.
Oh no, please no.
Like Kavicha hasn't signed a new contract, by the way.
So
not on the right. I don't want him on the right. I want him on the left.
What? Hold on. Are you not deep in that? If you're a baller, you can play anywhere, like across the front 3. If you're a baller, you can play on the left and you can play on the
but
right.
will he be of the same? Will he be the Kavichka that we know, or will he be a completely different Kavichka?
Why?
Because the Kavichka that we know plays off the left and dominates on the left.
And why couldn't he dominate on the right? Is he not good enough?
Because he's playing as a out-and-out winger, not an inverted
We bought
winger.
Mane as a right winger. We bought Mane as a right winger, and he tore it up as a right winger. He moved over to the left and tore it up. Are you trying to tell me that these players aren't good enough to go and do that?
Bro,
then I've got a question why we're signing.
There'll always be that element of risk then.
I also think that the Valverde is an option as well, because he's actually come out and said that he thought he'd get more game time this season. So that's an interesting one. The Kavicha thing, though, him and Nunes, the relationship they'd have would be amazing, because Nunes is a similar type of player to Osimhen that they've got already, and him click like that. But Valverde, why not? He can play there. He has done. He's played there for Real Madrid loads. The chat is saying that he's not played in that position. He has. And he's another Uruguayan.
Yeah. Who am I going for, man? I think there's one man at the top and there's one man only, man. There's actually one man only. You can play on the left. You can play on the right. You can play down the centre now. He's proved it. It's got to be Leroy Sané, man.
Oh, flipping hell, bro. Oh, my God.
It's got to be. There's no one else. Unless we go down the route. Unless we go down the route of like, let's get Brian and Bomo and then try and develop him.
Klopp is going to hate him. Klopp will hate him. Klopp will hate Sané.
Yeah, but Klopp's not going to be here by the time he goes, man. It's for the next manager as well. Like, I'm sorry.
How old is Sané, bro?
Signing him now.
25?
Nah, he's older than that.
No, he's not.
27.
He's 27. So when Klopp leaves, hypothetically, which is in 3 years' time, he will be 30.
2 years.
2 years' time, he'll be 29, 30 years old. I know you love Sané. I know you love him a lot, but when it comes to the big games, he sucks.
Could Klopp make Sancho work?
Come on, man.
What do you mean? No, come on. No, please tell me. Bayern Munich last season against City, he was ass.
Yeah, but the Bayern were pants. Kimmich was pants.
Bayern Munich against PSG.
Look,
a couple of seasons ago, he was pants as well.
Kimmich was flipping pants. Kimmich was dead in that game.
Okay, fine.
I can imagine you two just arguing all day about German football.
Well. Like, bro, he got replaced. He got replaced by Kingsley Coman, bro, who's injury prone.
Kingsley Coman.
Kingsley Coman.
Kingsley Coman. I know. Everyone knows. I love Kingsley Coman. He's a baller, but he hadn't played a lot of games that season because he was injured, and he still got replaced by him.
All right, Ram. Nicola Pepe is available on loan.
Oh my days! Now you're just taking the piss, man. You're just actually taking the piss.
Is Jadon Sancho on 350 grand a week?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I reckon Klopp would get a tune out of him.
A name I can hear, Rafinha here.
Oh, so Rafinha from Barca, would you have him?
I'll take him.
Yeah.
Ah, Brasileiro. All right.
I wanted him before he went. We've
That's
linked
true.
with him.
I was on that train as well.
Yeah, big time.
Right.
One player.
Right wing. Shout out to Big Country.
I've said this for a while.
Jakub
I think Trent would be brilliant.
Jakub Blaszczykowski.
Yeah, he would be brilliant. Can you imagine?
Hey JJ, I'm telling you, bro. Jakub Blaszczykowski on the right wing all over again.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
That's old school, isn't it? That's old school club.
It's gotta be. It's got to be Nabry or Sane, or it's got to be someone. Man.
Okay, Nabry, I hear.
Well, anyone from
Bayern. He's got in-game
Musiala.
intelligence.
Yeah, I mean,
literally got so many players.
Oh,
yeah, maybe, man, maybe.
I might take the risk on Musiala though.
How about? Do you think Barca would sell Yamal?
Who?
He's not done enough.
No,
yet.
he's not going. He's not going.
He's not done enough.
I know he's a baller, but no, he's not going. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's that new fatty, bro.
How about Ferran Torres?
I like him.
I used to like him. I don't know what he's doing now.
How about
What about
Mitoma?
Mitoma?
That's so much. Mitoma would be good, and you could play on the right.
And they sell.
There is also another player out here, and I'm
Who's that?
really concerned about his injuries. Chiesa.
Yeah.
I'm
Crucial
done with him,
knee.
I
knee
love
ligament.
Chiesa though.
That's just.
Chiesa's.
It's not for me.
That's my guy right there. I wanted him. I've wanted him when he was at Fiorentina, bro. I was like, bro, he's gonna be a baller. I think we tried to get him as well, but he was like, "Nah, I don't think I'm gonna get any game time." So he's like,
Guys, I'd love to chat all day, man. I've got to shoot though, all right, man. But great show, all right. And you
Well,
can chop it up
yeah.
about German football teams all night.
big up, man. Big up, Kane, man.
Big up the chat.
Big up.
Yeah, big up, man.
Chucky's a shout.
Pedro Neto.
No. Sorry, Callum. No.
Yeah, it's peak, man. It's peak. I'm gonna have to do what it is. I'm just gonna have to. I have to have a look at some right wingers.
There's a couple, but but a lot of them is hope that they could do well.
I think Brian Mbeumo would do sick. I think he'd do absolutely sick because he's another player.
He's a bit like a Jota, though, in my opinion.
No, but he is. No, but he's not. He's got more pace. He's got way more pace.
Jota's quick. He's slightly quick.
Yeah, but he's not Mbeumo quick.
He's not explosive.
Yeah, Mbeumo's off. He's leaving you, and he's left-footed, so he's off that right. And
is he left-footed?
Yeah,
I thought he's right.
He's left-footed. Plays on the right, left-footed. Look at that finish. Look at the touch and finish from the weekend. His left foot touch, driving at the box, and open up his body. Left-footed.
Hey, JJ. Maybe you got a little something right here, bro. I always thought he was right-footed. Maybe that's just how good the player he is. Man.
Yeah, he's left-footed, man. He's left-footed. Big up to Michael Talks. Thank you for the super chat saying JJ, take out Prestiani from Velez in Argentina.
Michael with them players, bro. He knows of the Argentinians.
Jamrock saying Rams, when you get a chance, do you watch the French league? Not a Mo Salah replacement, but the new right winger for Lyon.
Turkey.
What, Barcola.
Oh, Bradley Barcola. I like him as well.
Yeah. Maybe we go two up top and get Ivan Toney with Nunes. A little two up top. And then Soboslai.
4-2-2-2-2.
Yeah. Big up to Din as well. Thank you for the super chat saying, evening, gentlemen. We know we need at least 2 new centre backs. Do we have better back in Matip and Gomez than the rest of the top 6, not including City? I'd say Arsenal have a better backup of centre backs. I would say
it's literally Man City, then Arsenal. No, leave a little gap, then it's Arsenal, and then it's just the rest.
Yeah, I think the rest is, you could argue.
But I think Man United's got the worst in terms of they got Maguire and Evans, which is mad. Then even if you look at Tottenham, their centre backs I think they got rid of their Deadwood, but most of them are unproven or even makeshift centre backs. And Chelsea's again unproven.
Yeah. Jamrock saying, no, it's not Cherky or Barcola. It's Ernest Nuama.
No, I haven't seen any of him. I'll take a look at him, though. I'll take a look at him.
Alainus, big up to yourself, saying Mike, Mikel Oyarzabal can play right wing as well. My opinion is that there's a lot of options.
He's a bit of like a Pau Torres, always talked about a lot, but never gets a move. He even talks about going to Barca and places like that, and still never got a move.
He's the skipper of the team, though, isn't it? That's the thing.
Huh?
He's the captain of the team.
He's not. Zubimendi.
No, it isn't. Are you sure?
I swear Zubimendi is still
Oyarzabal has been captain for a while there. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. We got Ultra saying Jerry and Ram, how about Jack Harrison?
Damn.
Yeah, man, I have to air that. Rob Stewart saying
I take that back. I take it back. He is captain.
Yeah. Told you. Chukwueze as well. Chukwueze.
I had so much hopes for Chukwueze, man. Chukwueze, I thought that would be our Salah replacement right there, but he's really good in times, but at other times he's ass.
Yeah, it's true, man. But look, people, that's been obviously the show for today. Thank you so much for obviously tuning in as well. For everyone that's obviously donated and put a super chat in as well. For anyone that's become a member during the channel, please make sure we obviously smashing a like as well, and let us know in the comments, what do you think about the Hendo situation? I want some proper in-depth conversation if you're watching this back on the replay, not in the live chat, but in the actual in the comments. And then let us know as well, 200+ mil for Salah. Are you taking it? If that bid comes in today, like this evening, tomorrow morning, maybe even Thursday morning, are you guys down to obviously sell? Let me know, and let me know why as well. I think that's interesting as well.
One more name popped into my head. Marcus Edwards.
Marcus Edwards, 100%, man. 100%. But yeah, shout out to obviously everyone in the building. Make sure we're heading over to the Ram stand as well, and heading over there to making sure we're just subscribing, making sure any content that drops from Ram, which is far and few between, we're there and we're up to date with it. Yeah, have a great evening from myself.
Everything your favorite player did, Pele.
Oh, I played that mad. Also, happy birthday to G. Happy birthday to G in the building. Make sure we're all spamming G on Twitter and everyone. It's actually his birthday today. Didn't want me to let anyone know, but lo and behold, he's turned 60 now, and 60's no mean feat, man. No mean feat for someone on YouTube. So make sure we're heading over there. We're heading over to his platform, under his videos, on Twitter, on Instagram, and wishing him a happy birthday. Yeah, have a great evening. See you guys tomorrow, most likely. It's been the Jerry James Show, and we are out. Take it easy.